Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Crafty Yellow Camper, and welcome to my very untidy desk. I'm going to show you another card today which uses more of the Celebration freebies, and this time it's a 6x6 pack of paper. It's called the Silver and Gold 6x6 Speciality Paper, and it's yours with a £45 spend. Celebration's been underway for a month now, and it carries on until the end of August. There have also been some additional products added to Celebration, and if you'd like to see what they are, if you head over to my Facebook page, which is also the Crafty Yellow Camper, you should be able to see a poster, picture of a poster on there, which shows what the other items are. There are some dies and some other bits and pieces as well. So for today, we're just going to have a look at this paper. As I said, it's silver and gold. It's spots and stripes. So we've got gold stripes. These papers unusually are only one-sided. So I suspect it's because they're foiled. So you've got gold stripes, gold spots. Hopefully you can see that. Silver stripes and silver spots. So I can really see these silver spots being really handy for Christmas cards. Sorry to use the dreaded Christmas word in August. Anyway, so I'm going to show you an alternative card, and this card I have shamelessly pinched from Esther Howard over at Stamp and Star Creations. Basically, when we see something else another demonstrator has done and we really like it, we can do something called casing it, which either stands for copy and share everything, so CACSE for case, or I can't remember what the other is. Copy and share everything. Anyway, that'll do. There is another CASE, but I can't remember what it is. So I've gone ahead and pre-done some elements for this card, so you don't have to listen to me heat embossing. So we're starting off with a base card in Fresh Freesia, which is one of the in colours from 21 to 23. So they'll be with us until the end of May next year. Purple is one of my favourite colours, so that ticks a lot of boxes for me. So then I've cut, I should say this is a C6 card base, which is half of a A4 sheet if you're in the UK or Europe. So half of whatever is an American or Canadian sheet, or wherever you are. So in the UK, this is cut at 14.8 across. It's 21 wide, scored at 10.5 to make a standard C6 base. And then I've cut a piece of that lovely gold. I don't know if you can get that gold shimmer on the camera. I really hope you can, because it doesn't do it justice otherwise. It's really pretty. And this is cut at 14.3 by 10, which will give us a matte layer for the front of our card. But before I stick that down, we're going to do some stamping on it. So as I said, this card's totally inspired by Esther and her genius use of the flowers from Cup of Tea. I know that she's been using this stamp set a lot in her YouTubes. I believe she said she'd been lent it by somebody. I bought it in pre-order, and I have made a few cards with it, but not loads, to be honest, so it was a good excuse to get it back out again. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to use this flower stamp here, which is this one, and it's actually intended to go into the top of the cup, so it looks like you've got floral elements growing out of your cup. But what she did was used it to make a wreath, which I thought was an absolutely inspired idea. Now, we're not talking Christmas cards here. So what we're going to do is going to stamp it 4 times. Now, I'm using Soft Succulent, which is out of the same range of in colours. And hopefully I can get it right. So Esther, I think, looking at her card, because I was fast forwarding through it, I watch her videos live where I can, but that's not always possible, so I often end up watching them on catch up when I'm doing my nails, actually, because I sit at my craft desk to do my gel nails, and it's nice to have something to listen to while you're waiting for the old polish to soak off. But I was running late to go out, so I had to fast forward through a few bits. So I think that's what Esther did. So you can see that's stamped really nicely over this paper, and I've got a bit of a boo-boo there, look, where I've got ink on my hands, but we can cover that up, so don't panic. And then what she did, she just used a blending brush, and she got a little bit of ink on her blending brush. I don't want it too dark. And then she just very carefully, that's not actually shown at all, so I do need it a bit darker, she inked around the inside. Now the teacup is going to go on there, so we are going to cover a bit of it up, but it just added a little something to it, I think. Okay, so we're just going to ink that up there with our blending brush. And these aren't my usual Stampin' Up! Blending brushes, which are far superior in my opinion, but they're in the wash. You can't put them on the ink pad when they're wet. Okay, and then what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've stamped this teacup image here, and I have heat embossed it with gold embossing powder. Okay, and then die cut it, obviously. You didn't need to see me doing that. So I'm just going to move that piece to one side. I'm just going to add a little bit of colour to this. So our background is, oh, I've got polished pink out, which isn't what our background is. I changed my mind. Our background is fresh freesia. So just to add a little bit of colour to that teacup to make it coordinate with the back of the card, or the cardstock base, I'm just going to add a little bit of fresh freesia colour, and because we've heat embossed, it acts as a sort of a colour resist, if you like, so we'll just be able to buff that colour off in a minute. Okay, now you need a soft cloth to buff off with, and something I've found is if you've got glasses or you have prescription sunglasses, they usually come with a soft cloth to wipe them with, and they work really well for just buffing up, or buffing off, shall we say, your ink. And obviously they can be slung in the washing machine as well, which is really handy. I'm just going to buff that up, so we've just got that gold embossing not completely covered by the ink, and I've just noticed there's a little bit of white showing there, so we'll just try and get rid of that. Okay, now this isn't heat embossing to my usual standard, because Stampin' Up! In their wisdom have decided not to sell the heat embossing powders separately, but to sell them in a mixed pack, which is great if you're just starting out, because you get a copper, a silver and a gold. But unfortunately, if you use one colour more than the other, then you tend to end up running out. And I have run out of gold and didn't realise, so I've had to use another brand, but hopefully that works okay. And then the other thing that I thought we'd do is just go round the edge of our piece of white and gold stripy paper, again just to pick up a little bit of that colour to match the base card. So I'm just loading my blending brush up. Always start off the paper and use a circular movement, otherwise you'll get blobs. If you are I'll put my teeth back in and start again. If you are sponging in across something, then it's okay to go in a straight line, because you will that won't matter. You can like that. Okay, so we've just added a bit of our fresh freesia to that. I'll put those to one side. Right, now what we're going to do is we're going to stick this, and you can see I just had a bit of a practice run on the back there just to make sure it was going to fit onto my piece of paper. Okay, there's always a second side. Okay, so I'm going to open out my card base and add this on there. Just turn that over and give that a firm press to make sure that's stuck. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add our teacup. Now, I'm not entirely sure. This needs a little bit of something else, and I can't remember exactly what Esther added to it. but we'll sort of make this bit up as we go along. It was the wreath using the flowers and the sponging that I really liked, blending, sorry. So we're going to add our teacup to the middle of that there. So you can see it does still look like there's foliage coming out of that teacup, as well as sitting on it. And I'm going to go back to my stamp set and see what we have got that we can add. Now what I'm thinking is, you might have to bear with me while I do a little bit of die cutting here. What I'm thinking is, suppose this die here coordinates with this leaf, as you can see when it's turned over the right way. Well, yeah, help if I held the stamp the right way, wouldn't it? That will coordinate with that. So I think what I'm going to do is just grab a block, and I'll grab some scrap white. I don't know if anybody else is like me. I tend to lob things at the floor when I'm crafting. Tidy it all up when I'm done. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll just stamp some of those in soft succulent, so we're keeping our colour palette similar. So, top tip here, when you're stamping with photopolymer stamps, put a stamp pad underneath to get a better image. You can see on this one where I didn't press evenly, or the desk wasn't even, that we've lost a bit there. So by putting a foam mat underneath, you'll get a much better image. Okay, so just bear with me 2 seconds while I just run over to my die cutting machine, carry on chatting to you, and hopefully you can hear me. My desk unfortunately isn't big enough to have the die cutting machine sat on it all the time. I have a separate area in my craft room where I keep my die cutting machines. Yes, that is die cutting machines plural. Okay, I'm just going to run that through for one leaf. Go back. So that die is small enough that I could have run it through my mini cut and emboss machine, which would fit on my desk, but my large one is actually out currently, and I would have had to go fishing about for the plates to run through my mini one, which is why usually I prep all my die cutting before I start to record. There are always times when we get caught out. Okay, and I'm back. So there we've got our leaves, and you can see I like to use up all my scraps of paper. Okay, so there's our leaves. We'll just get rid of that piece of scrap because I can probably still get another few leaves out of that. Okay, we'll put that on there. And then we've got these nice leaves, which I think we can use to add a little bit of detail to the card, and maybe add some sort of greeting just to cover up that boo-boo down there. I think what I'm going to do is have those down there like that, and we'll put a greeting across the middle, and I might well snip those tails off. So I'm just trying to have a look and see what we've got. Okay, I'm not really happy with the greeting in those, in that set. There are some lovely greetings, but it's not really what I want. So I'm just going to pull another set off my shelf. Something that's got something a bit more appropriate. What I'm after is a happy birthday, really. Never find one when you want one, can you? Oh my word, I should have sorted this out before I came on to record. Okay, well, I think I might have to add a happy birthday to that later. Ah, no, got one. Right, so I've pulled out the art gallery stamp set, which I'm pretty sure is still current. And we're going to pull out the happy birthday. Yeah, there we go. I like this set because it's got congratulations in it. We don't have that many sets that say congratulations. So let me just grab another block and I'll just mount that up. It's not very level, I know. Now, when I was cutting down this 6x6 paper pack, I'm not sure if it's going to be wide enough, but there was a trimming. Oops, lost it. Excuse me while I rummage on the floor. Oh, goodness me. Why do small bits always fly out of your grasp? Okay, so it's a trimming from that gold paper, and I'm just wondering if this will fit. Might just about. Let's give it a go. So I'm going to go in with the soft succulent again. Let's just, I might have to get my head in the camera, so please excuse me if I knock my phone that I'm recording on. Just give that a minute to catch on that paper. There we go. Now I'm not sure whether I like it like that or whether I would prefer it on the white, so we'll just give that a stamp. Again, just give it a minute for that ink to soak in before flipping it off. Now, so I'm just going to close that ink pad up because otherwise I'll get covered. Not that I don't already, but anyway. So we can either have it on the white. Let's just bring that back in a bit more so you can see. We can either have it on the white. Let me zoom in. Oops. Like that. Or we can have it on the gold, and actually on this occasion I think it looks better on the white. So I'm just going to grab my snips. I'm just going to zoom you back out again so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, apologies if that made anyone seasick. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to snip that across that end there, take a tiny fraction of that end there, then we will put some dimensionals on the back of this. I'm not going to bother to cut that end off, actually. I was going to cut that stalk off, but it's not going to show anyway underneath the grating, hopefully. And then I've just got my mini dimensionals here, which I'm just going to put one on each end, which I think will be sufficient. So we're doubling up on layering. Okay, so that one of these had a better stalk. This one had the better stalk, so we'll leave that one for the top. Okay, so what we'll do is we will put those down here. Now we need to make sure not to go over the edge of the card, otherwise it's not going to fit in the envelope properly. So we'll put that one there, and we'll put this one on there like that. And then we'll flick our backs off our little minis. Okay. Oh, you'll never guess what I've done. I stuck the dimensionals on the wrong piece. Oh my goodness me. It's clearly been a long day. Okay, wind back a couple of steps. Oh, goodness me. I am very far from a perfect crafter. I do that kind of thing all the time. I actually sent a Christmas card once to a friend who was left-handed that actually opened the other way. I like to think it was intentional, and I'd got her in mind with that card, but if I'm truthful, I don't think it entirely was, but she seemed really pleased with it. Okay, so I'm just going to put that happy birthday across there, and then you can see we've managed to hide that little smudge I made. So quite often when I'm making a project, if I smudge it or I get something where it's not meant to be, that actually informs the design. you know, which I actually quite like. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do down here. I knew I wanted a greeting, but I wasn't sure what I was going to do. So that's actually covered that up really well. So I'm quite pleased with that. So thank you very much, Esther Howard from Stampin' Star Creations, for the inspiration. And hopefully you can see that this gold and silver paper isn't just for Christmas. So it's yours, 6x6 pack, and it has 24 sheets in it, so loads to play with. Half of it are stripes and half of it is dots, and it's yours with a £45 spend until the end of August. And as I said, if you pop over to my Facebook page, The Crafty Yellow Camper, you'll be able to see on there, I posted yesterday or the day before, you'll be able to see on there the additional items that are available for celebration. Okay, that's all for me for now, and hopefully I'll see you all again soon. Happy stamping and thanks for watching. Bye for now.